Some of the smartest people you know will never become wealthy, not because they lack discipline, not because they aren't hardworking, but because intelligence itself can become a financial trap. And the worst part? Most people never realize they're inside it. You were told intelligence was the advantage, that if you studied hard, made good decisions, avoided mistakes, and played by the rules, you'd win. But what if the rules you learned were designed for a completely different game? Because this isn't motivation. This is an autopsy. The education system taught you something dangerous. That being right matters. That preparation matters. That credentials matter. That if you gather enough knowledge, success becomes inevitable. And for a while, that worked. Good grades, good school, good job. But somewhere between the diploma and the bank account, the formula broke. Because the rules of school and the rules of wealth are not the same. In school, certainty is rewarded. In wealth, action under uncertainty is rewarded. In school, mistakes punish you. In wealth, mistakes teach you. In school, the smartest person often wins. In wealth, the one willing to move first often wins. And here's the darker truth. The system doesn't train people to build wealth. It trains them to become valuable inside someone else's machine. And smart people become very good at that machine, sometimes too good. The first trap is overthinking, and smart people call it being responsible. An average person sees an opportunity and acts. A smart person sees the same opportunity and opens 10 tabs, builds a spreadsheet, studies the downside, finds 17 risks, waits for perfect clarity, and misses the window. That doesn't feel like failure. It feels like intelligence, but it isn't. It's paralysis wearing a suit. And here's the irony. Intelligent people often don't lose because they make bad decisions. They lose because they delay decisions until opportunity expires. Preparation is not progress. Knowing more does not mean earning more. The market doesn't pay you for understanding. It pays you for participation. And that's where the trap begins. But it gets worse, because beneath overthinking is a deeper trap. Perfectionism. Smart people wait until they're ready, until the plan is airtight, until the launch is polished, until the timing feels perfect. But readiness is a feeling, and feelings lie. Most wealth was not created by people who felt ready. It was created by people willing to move while uncertain. Smart people polish. Wealth builders ship. And that difference changes everything. Then comes the trap almost nobody sees. Smart people optimize the wrong game. They optimize salary, titles, promotions, status, performance, visible markers. But salary is income. Income is not wealth. You can make $200,000 a year and still be financially fragile because you were maximizing earnings, not ownership. Here's the reframe. Poor people often sell labor. Smart people often sell expertise. The wealthy build ownership. That is a different game. And many intelligent people spend decades winning the wrong one. They climb ladders built by other people, then wonder why they don't feel free, because they confused being valuable with becoming wealthy. And those are not the same. But now the trap is evolving, because this is 2026, and the old assumptions are collapsing. For decades, smart people believed knowledge was leverage. Now knowledge is becoming a commodity. AI isn't disrupting only routine work. It's targeting analysts, lawyers, consultants, coders, researchers, the very careers smart people spent years preparing for. The credential was supposed to be the moat. Now it may be the sunk cost, and that's terrifying. Because accepting it means questioning the identity built around expertise. And identity is hard to challenge. especially when it has debt attached to it. But denial is expensive, sometimes fatal. And there is another modern trap: productivity. It looks like progress. Sometimes it is sophisticated procrastination. Smart people love optimization, morning routines, app systems, second brains, productivity hacks. But many are optimizing output inside a system that still doesn't create ownership. They become efficient at staying stuck. That's the trap. Being productive is not the same as becoming wealthy. You can manage tasks perfectly and still build nothing that compounds. The wealthy often look less productive day to day because they optimize for leverage, not busyness. Leverage scales. Busyness doesn't. And smart people often confuse the two. And while this happens, there's another system draining people quietly: the attention economy. And it is not neutral. It is engineered. Every scroll, every notification, every outrage cycle, every dopamine loop, stealing the one thing wealth requires: focused thought. Smart people are burning cognitive horsepower consuming information instead of building assets. They know everything. They own nothing. And the system likes it that way because distracted people rarely build leverage. Productive people can still be trapped. Busy people can still stay broke. That's the deception. Then comes the safest lie ever sold: the safe job. It feels like security. It isn't. It is dependency disguised as stability. One employer, one paycheck, one point of failure. That is not security. That is concentration risk. Most people think they're one promotion away from freedom. In reality, they may be one layoff away from panic. And that changes how you see everything. But here's the twist nobody expects. Wealth doesn't reward intelligence. Wealth rewards behavior. That's the secret. Not IQ, not credentials. Behavior, acting before certainty, tolerating being wrong, taking asymmetric bets, building systems, thinking in leverage. Smart people often seek certainty. Wealth is usually built in uncertainty. That's the paradox. And until you see it, you keep playing the wrong game. A smart person solves problems. A wealth builder builds systems that solve problems repeatedly. That gap between solving and systemizing is where fortunes are made, and most people never cross it because it requires surrendering something intelligent people love: control, being the expert, being right. But wealth often belongs to people willing to be imperfect at scale, and that is uncomfortable, but true. If this is hitting hard, good. It should. Because the question is no longer, am I smart enough? Wrong question. The question is, what game am I playing? Are you optimizing salary or ownership, certainty or leverage, credentials or asymmetric opportunity? Because intelligence pointed at the wrong target can keep you broke for decades, but pointed at ownership, at systems, at leverage, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes dangerous in a good way. Look at people building real wealth. Many weren't the smartest in the room. They simply understood something earlier. Thinking about the game matters less than changing the game. That realization changes lives because once you stop worshiping security, you start seeing opportunity. Once you stop chasing income, you start building assets. Once you stop needing certainty, you can finally move. And movement compounds, just like money does. If this channel has ever made you question something you thought you understood, that's the point. Most people sleepwalk through their financial lives. Stay awake. Subscribe to Wallet Mastery, because the people who question the system are often the first to escape it. And maybe the biggest lie smart people believe is that risk is dangerous. Usually what they call risk is visible risk. Starting a business looks risky. Buying assets looks risky. Leaving a secure path looks risky. But what about invisible risk? Spending 40 years dependent on one paycheck. Is that not risk? Trusting inflation not to destroy savings. Is that not risk? Assuming your industry survives automation. Is that not risk? Sometimes what looks safe is the riskiest decision available. And what looks risky is the only path to freedom. That changes everything. And the final truth is this: your intelligence was never the problem. The problem was using it to climb ladders built by other people. Because intelligence alone does not create wealth. Ownership does. Leverage does. Courage does. And once you understand that, being smart stops being a trap and starts becoming a weapon.